Hey guys, welcome to Series World. Today I'm going to explain a mystery thriller series called Burning Body from 2023. Turn on subtitles and spoilers ahead. The third episode opens with Rosa giving birth to Sophia. Javi and Rosa are very happy to welcome their child into the world. Albert sends a congratulatory message to Rosa, but also adds that he misses her company as a partner. Her parents also come to visit Sophia and Rosa. The scene changes to Rosa checking her body in the mirror sometime after birth. After that, Rosa is seen again making love to Albert in the police car. The scene cuts to Rosa attending the burial of Pedro. His friend gives his speech describing how great of a person Pedro was. After the speech, Esther pulls Rosa aside and asks her why she didn't tell her about Albert. Rosa replies that she thought it wasn't an important topic. Esther presses her to tell her everything. She assures her that she won't judge. Rosa tells her that there was nothing serious between her and Albert, and it was a long time ago. Still, Esther explains that he might be the one who killed Pedro, but Rosa assures her that a man like Albert has no emotion like jealousy. She adds that Javi is just trying to confuse her. Esther doesn't say anything, gets a call, and leaves. After she left, Rosa texts Albert saying Esther asked her about him and tells him to delete it all. Flashbacks show Rosa and Albert having a launch with their other colleagues. Rosa left the table to do something when one of her colleagues mentions in front of everyone that he'll make a move on her. He even imagines being intimate with Rosa. Albert gets a bit annoyed hearing this, and they engage in a slight argument. Rosa comes back to the table and asks what they're arguing about. They ask Rosa about her married life and her newborn baby. Rosa replies that her daughter is with her, but jokingly says that Alex can't make a move on her as she's with Albert now. Back to present, Esther is done with her call. She comes back and informs Rosa that Pedro was seen in the vicinity of Javi's house on the 2nd. That's the last they got from Pedro's phone. After that, it was turned off. Rosa acts shocked and asks when Esther will arrest Javi. Esther replies that first, they need to confirm that Javi was also present there. Hearing this, Rosa gets upset. Esther tells her that she'll inform her if they get any updates and leaves. Flashbacks show Javi playing with Sophia and Rosa. After that, Rosa and Javi sleep on the couch together. Rosa is not asleep though, and she imagines naked Albert standing in front of her. At present, Albert is on his phone when Rosa comes to his place. She asks whether he has deleted everything, and he assures her that he has. Rosa starts going inside the house, but Albert calls her back. She comes and they start kissing on the lips. They end up in bed. After they've done the deed, Albert hops on the shower. Rosa also starts getting dressed up. Albert asks her what she told Esther. She replies that she told him there was nothing serious between them and they had no future. Rosa asks him whether he remembers what they'll do after Javi's arrest. Albert doesn't seem to remember, so Rosa reminds him that they'll go to Portaventura. Albert understands. He even adds that they should take Sophia with them too, and maybe stay in one of the hotels in the park. Rosa agrees, and before leaving, she leaves a post-it note for Albert saying everything will be okay. Meanwhile, Esther is investigating the case. An officer comes and informs her that Javi has denied being home that day at that time. It is then revealed that Esther was investigating Albert's profile on Facebook. After her colleague leaves, Esther calls someone named Solaris and asks for his file for Albert Lopez. Flashbacks show Albert coming to Rosa and Javi's barbecue party. Rosa introduces Albert to Javi as her patrol buddy. Albert gives them the food he brought for them and they chat together. After that, Javi and Albert leave to get some drinks. Almu comes up to Rosa and congratulates her as this is her birthday party too, more than a barbecue party. Almu informs her that her partner couldn't come as they've ended things. Rosa is shocked hearing this and tells Almu to take care of herself now, as she's also a new mother. Almu tells her not to worry as this is mutual, but Rosa is sad for her, so she hugs her and comforts her. The scene cuts to Albert talking with the people at the party. He shares a funny experience of his while he was patrolling. After they are done laughing and chatting, it's time to open the presents. First, Rosa opens the present from Almu, which is a box full of makeup items. After she has thanked Almu for her gift, Javi pushes his gift package towards her. Rosa opens it, and inside is another box. She opens that box, and inside is another. After opening a few boxes, she finally finds a ring box inside the last box. She opens it, and there's an engagement ring. Javi sits down on his knees and asks for her hand in marriage. Rosa gladly accepts his proposal, and they kiss. While they're celebrating, Albert goes inside the house to have something. Rosa follows him to the kitchen. Albert congratulates her and asks whether she won't be intimate with him anymore. Rosa doesn't reply to anything but invites him to come to her wedding and leaves. Albert follows her but doesn't leave the house. Back to the present, Esther's colleague informs her that Javi wasn't in his house. Instead, he was in Villanova on May 2nd. He also has 7 testimonies from his co-workers supporting his alibi. Her co-worker tells Esther that he doesn't trust Rosa. Esther is also confused about whether Rosa is trying to convince her. Rosa didn't even mention Albert either. Flashbacks start showing the wedding of Rosa and Javi. They're all celebrating the wedding by spinning their handkerchiefs in the air, but Albert is not present there. Rosa's father gives a heart-touching speech to the bride and groom. After that, the marvelous wedding cake is brought up. The scene soon turns to the bride and groom dancing with the guests together after some Spanish music. Meanwhile, Albert is also watching other people dance in a nightclub. A girl catches his eyes from the crowd, and later they end up in bed. Later that night, Albert gets up from his sleep. He checks his phone and sees that a photo of Rosa was sent to him. Back to the present, Esther is going through the files of Albert. In an article, it is noted that Albert was fined for beating up a street vendor, seriously injuring him. There was even a witness to this incident. Esther tells her colleague to pay attention to what Albert did in 2014. He was implicated in a death. Rosa was also related to the incident. Flashbacks show Rosa and Albert in their patrol car. They talk a bit, but get out to chase away some unlicensed street vendors. One of the vendors refuses to leave, even swears at them. But things escalate when Rosa confronts the vendor. He stabs her in her thigh. Albert gets furious seeing this. He handcuffs the man and throws him off the cliff, killing him instantly. At present, Esther is at Albert's house to ask him some questions. He seems very willing to help her. Albert tells her to have a seat and goes to the restroom, removes the post-it note from Rosa, and comes back. Esther asks him whether it's true that he had a relationship with Rosa. Albert clears her that they didn't have a proper relationship. They are patrol partners, and they hooked up sometimes. Esther asks whether he has seen her recently. Albert confirms he did, but explains that only because she's going through a lot and he does care. Esther hands him his files and tells him that he has a few questions about him. She asks him whether the death of the vendor was truly an accident. Albert replies that the case was closed and it's even written on the files that it was an accident. Esther explains it depends on the relationship Albert has with Rosa because Rosa was the only witness to the incident. Albert denies this allegation. Esther asks whether he was jealous of Pedro, and Albert starts laughing and says no. Flashbacks show Albert talking with Rosa, Javi, and her parents about what happened to the vendor. He explains to them that it was just an accident. Further tells them that the man was a drug addict and was a known name to the police for his deeds. Javi agrees that the man was a scumbag, but what's bothering the police is that the man was handcuffed when he fell off. Albert tells Javi that he handcuffed the man, but the man started squirming, and he headbutted him, and that's when he went down. Javi understands. He tells Rosa that she needs to give a statement as the only witness. Rosa replies that she will give one. She goes inside the house and Albert follows her there too. Albert discusses with her whether she'll give a statement against him or in favor of him. Rosa hesitates as lying will risk her job. She explains that she has bills to pay and even a daughter, but Albert requests her to give her statement in favor of him. Javi notices them talking from outside. After Albert left, Javi starts going through Rosa's stuff while she's not there. He finds a small phone inside one of Rosa's boots. At present, Javi is confronting Rosa about why she is trying to get him involved in Pedro's death. He is confused as to why she's still standing up for Albert. Back in the past, Rosa is being questioned by an officer about what she witnessed. She tells him exactly what happened except for the last part. She tells him that the man was squirming a lot, so Albert handcuffed him. But the man tried to headbutt him and fell off the cliff. The officer seems skeptical about the whole story, but Rosa insists that Albert is not this type of person. Even though he seems tough, he's quite the opposite. At present, the officer who investigated Albert's case is meeting Esther about Pedro's death. He assures Esther that there was no evidence against Albert. Esther understands, but she wants to know about something else. Esther asks him whether he thinks Rosa lied for Albert. The officer replied that everyone knew that Rosa and Albert were a couple. He doesn't know whether Rosa lied for him, but it's clear that she knows how to lie very well. Flashbacks start showing and Albert and Rosa are meeting in an amusement park. Sophia is also with Rosa. Rosa introduces Albert to Sophia, and they start enjoying their day. The scene changes to Rosa and the other officers spending their time after eating. Rosa gets outside and meets with Pedro for the first time. They introduce them to each other and chat around a little bit. Pedro tells her that he has to go as he has a 7-month-old back at home. He gives her his packet of snacks to share with others as he can't finish them. Pedro starts getting ready to leave, but Rosa calls him from behind. At present, Esther is in her office. Her colleague comes to her room and asks her when she'll leave the office. She shrugs off and tells him to call the judge right now on duty. She also tells him to tap both Albert and Rosa's phone. The scene changes to Rosa and Albert writing a Facebook post together on Rosa's profile about how much she misses Pedro and how hard it is for her to continue living. They are then seen having lunch together with Sofia. Sofia is not eating her food properly, and Rosa is scolding her for this. Sofia doesn't reply to anything, instead tells Albert that he's sitting in Pedro's seat. This shuts up both Albert and Rosa. The episode ends with Rosa imagining the burning corpse of Pedro eating and sitting on the chair instead of Albert. To watch more explanations of these kinds of series, click on the videos on your screen. And don't forget to let me know how you feel about today's video in the comments down below. And at last, thanks for watching.